Hello, Austin from DragonCo here again, and this is a commander that I've wanted to build for a while. I've probably had this card for more than a year and just haven't quite had the tools to build the deck. Yuriko is a ninja. She has ninjutsu like most ninjas do, which means you can return an unblocked attacker that you control to your hand, and then put her into play tapped and attacking in place of that card, so it's attacking the same thing they were attacking. And then, like most ninjas, on dealing combat damage to a player, they have an ability. She has a really cool one that's a card advantage, so it's like halfway between draw a card and deal damage. You reveal the top card and you deal damage to your opponents equal to its CMC, and then you still draw it. So you definitely draw a card, so it's as good as Ninja of the Deep Hours. And it also starts killing your opponents. Apparently CDH viable, and blue-black isn't really my forte. If you look at my list of potential commanders here, you can see I guess I have some blue and some black, but a lot of it is other colors. I'm not really into the Dimir, especially some of the controlling aspects, but this is more of a value-oriented deck, and I just didn't feel like I had the correct tools to optimize this strategy, because it does tend to be pretty feast or famine. I've seen some budget ones that seem to flop a lot, so I wanted to be able to have the correct tools to actually put this deck together. So it's going to be a bit more on the expensive side, and it's going to be, hopefully, a bit of a higher power level than some of my other decks. To do that, I did need to actually acquire some cards. Today, I'm just going to put the deck together. We'll see how it works out. I might not be fully optimized. It's just going to be with cards that I have, but I have gotten some cards specifically for this. For instance, I needed a mystical tutor, so I got this. This is the Jace spellbook that came out, I think, 2 years ago now. Must have been 3, almost. And it does have a mystical tutor in here. You can see the 8 cards it comes with. Now, I had the opportunity to pick up basically each of these cards individually at my LGS, and I thought, you know what, it's probably just worth it to buy this. I was wrong. I thought this was going for $30, and it's actually going for about $35 online. So if you have the opportunity to pick up the singles, you probably should, which is generally the way it goes, unless the sealed product is new, or say the signature spellbook Chandra. It's probably worth it to just buy that in the box set, and probably the singles prices will go up eventually. So there is a guaranteed foil in here, which is why the price is more than I think it's like 20 some odd dollars to pick this up individually, because you don't get the guaranteed foil card. Like to just pick up all of the 8 cards you're guaranteed in here individually. But if I had done that, I wouldn't get to open this on camera. So the 3 cards I believe that would make my money back are, of course, Mystical Tutor, and then Brainstorm and Counterspell. I believe any of those in foil, I will make the extra $5 or so necessary to have made my money from Magic cards. Cool. So let's open up this pack. These packs are weird. A wonderful sound. God, it's not opening. There we go. Keep up the suspense. Is the foil card on top? I don't remember. I don't remember much about spellbooks. Yes, it is. Blue Elemental Blast. That is not the one we hope to hit, but it is fine. It's probably going to go in the deck anyway. So Blue Elemental Blast, Threads of Disloyalty. It's probably a fine card to put in the deck. Negate also. Mystical Tutor, of course, the card we were looking for. Going to go in the deck. Gifts Ungiven is banned in Commander, I believe. Counterspell, probably going to go in the deck. Brainstorm is actually very good with Yuriko. Another Blue Elemental Blast. And Jace probably doesn't make the cut for this type of deck. It's just slightly less mana efficient, and we don't really want to be helping our opponents. This one's also bent. Did I just bend it, or did I do that at opening it, or did it just come bent? That's wonderful quality right there. Wonderful. Absolutely perfect. So, this is going to be our starting pool of cards, and I actually do have a set of cards that I have set aside from when I was building or when I was, looking through cards on other occasions, I have this box here that's called my Commander Toolkit. I don't know if you see that. Commander Toolkit. And it's just got some sections that have cards for specific decks that I may or may not build at some point in the future. And is it this one? Is it this one? Yeah, it looks like it. Yes. So these are cards that I have sort of put aside for this Yuriko deck to see if they might be good. But I also have an idea mostly of what the other stuff is going to be in here. So let's take a look. Nimble Trap Finder from the newest Zendikar set can be an Ophidian and can't be blocked potentially. We'll see how many rogues we have. This just ramps a little bit. That's probably not as great. Ink Fathom Witch is really interesting, and I actually have a different story about that in a second. Visible Stalker can't be blocked, and it has hexproof, pretty good. Vapor Smag is just a nice card. Blighted Agent has Infect and is unblockable. Curiosity gets us cards if we don't have ninjas. So does Nirok Commando, although it doesn't really have any evasive ability on its own. Scornful Egotist is an interesting one. So like I said, with Yuriko's ability here, whenever she deals damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library. Each opponent loses life equal to its converted mana cost. And then you put that card into your hand. So Scornful Egotist is a morph card. So it's basically a 3-mana 2/2 because it doesn't really have any other abilities from when you morph it. But it costs 8 mana. It's just an 8-mana 1/1 on its own. People didn't like this card when it was printed because it doesn't make sense if you're not super spiky. That the mana cost of this card is actually a benefit. It was a benefit when it was printed, and it is a benefit in this deck. Other than that, it's not the best card in the world. So this is what I mean when I say, like, it's going to have some conceit to being a bit of a lower power level just because of the cards I have. Choking Tethers. This is another card. A thing that I want to do with this style of deck is to have cards that have like a cycling cost or another alternate cost that I can activate from the hand. So their mana cost is high, and then they have a different cost that I can activate that hopefully brings me some effect later in the game, so that I can continue to use very little mana to sort of cycle through my deck and deal a bunch of damage to my opponent. Notion Thief is just a good card. Prevents my opponents from drawing extra cards. Nirok Stealth Suit is a good way to prevent things from being targeted. Coastal Piracy is just good. It's a curiosity for all your creatures. And Okiba Gang Shinobi, another ninja. You need ninjas with Yuriko, so it means that you either need cards that are ninjas or cards that are changelings. So Yuriko does work with all ninjas, so having a bunch of ninjas is a good idea. So these were probably all in the contention for running in the deck. So the deck is already coming along there. Now, I did also get another thing recently. This is one of the Plane Chase Anthology decks, Night of the Ninja. I got the Plane Chase Anthology, again, for this, because it has a couple cards that are probably going to be good in this deck. It actually came in the original box, the original Wizards of the Coast box. So, nice sealed Plane Chase Anthology. I've organized the cards in here. But I'm going to take a quick look through this deck and check out some of the ninja cards that would synergize pretty well with Yuriko here. Augury Owl is fine, although it's probably not what I want. Cancel or Concentrate. Higuru the Still Wind. This allows you to tutor up ninjas. It's also a ninja, so probably gets in. Mistblade Shinobi gets in. Ninja of the Deep Hours, the original sort of Ophidian, one of the best ninjas just on its own, kind of. One of the ones that really makes it work. Probably the best ninja, though, is Sakashima's Student. It is a clone ninja, and it stays a ninja when you ninjutsu it in. This card's worth, probably is the most expensive card in Plane Chase Anthology right now. It's worth quite a bit of money just because its effect is so unique. I wish it was reprinted, but I had to get this anthology to actually get it. Walker of Secret Ways is another ninja. Assassinate isn't that useful. Trying a creature card from a graveyard to your hand. Yeah, that just raised deads. Non-black creature, that's a lot of money. Ink Eyes, a lot of money. It's a lot of mana. A lot of mana. Jeez, you say money once and I'm just like all over the place. Liliana Spectre is fine. Get your opponents to discard cards. Okiba Getting Shinobi, there's another one. Skull Snatcher, quite a good one. And then I think Throat Slitter. God, some of these Skull Snatcher and Throat Slitter. These ninjas are just crazy. But yeah, destroy target non-black creature. That one's also very good. Tormented Soul. This is the kind of thing you want cheap, unblockable creatures so that your Yurikos can get through. Baleful Strix, similar sort of thing. Replaces itself. And it's not unblockable, but it's really difficult to block. And you can sort of cycle back Baleful Strixes. So you can get your ninjutsu triggers, then you can play your Baleful Strix and draw another card. Really good stuff. Dimir Infiltrator is also a tutor. I don't know what... I mean, you can tutor a Baleful Strix with it. Good stuff there. Another Ink Fathom Witch. Glenalindra Liege. I'll put that in there. I'll probably get cut. Silent Blade Oni, just another ninja. Vela of the Nightclad, probably too expensive, probably too much mana, but we'll see. Farsight Mask, I think it is definitely too much mana. Quietus Spike is interesting, not quite what we're doing, but I'll put it in just in case. Sigh of the Shinobis, I think deceptively good because it equips to a creature when it enters the battlefield. Or Spisto Cloak is of course good. Can't be blocked with Shroud. Super, super good for the deck. And then Tainted Isle here. So these tap lands I probably don't want. This I just know with these Dimir Aqueduct and Jwara Refuge. Gain life, and this one, I don't like these bounce lands unless you have a specific synergy with them. But Tainted Isle is a dual land if you control a swamp, so wonderful card there. And then you have these beautiful Kamigawa lands that make the panorama. So those are really cool. But yeah, those are the cards that I'm going to consider adding from that deck. And now we go to the part where I look at the interesting cards. I stop with the cards that I've pre-prepared, which is quite a number here. That's a thick, that's a pretty big deck right there. And I can start just digging through my box. Again, I do have an idea of the cards that I want that are in here. So let's go to the rare and interesting box. Come on, let's move this to the side. I do have an idea of the cards that I want because I've been thinking about this deck for some time. So we'll go through. We want cards that are unblockable. We want cards that are ninjas. I don't know how many of those we'll find necessarily. We want cards that are cheap to play, that can be hard to block or have good ETB effects. We want cards that have high CMC so that they can deal damage with Yuriko, and potentially lower cost effects so that we can do something with them even though we can't cast the high CMC part. And that's kind of the problem with Yuriko, is that it's actually hard to find those cards, and those are the most interesting cards. Or you can just sort of use Yuriko as a card draw engine and just keep cycling through your deck. It's not like absolutely necessary that Yuriko triggers deal massive amounts of damage, but it's more fun that way. Counterspell. I already have the Jace Counterspell. I might replace it with that art, though. Arcane Adaptation could make all our creatures ninjas, so that they could all trigger Yuriko, which would be interesting. There's some Spirits, some Moonfolks, Juicy Apprentice, Misdirection. Whelming Wave, maybe. Propaganda prevents us from being attacked again. Muldrifter's fun. Sakashima's Will. That's interesting. We'll put that in. Sakashima's Protege probably is too much mana, although it does Cascade. Preordain we want, because we want to also, again, manipulate the top of our library, because Yuriko, again, let's pull her out, looks at the top card of our library. So if we know what card that is, we can, because we scryed it to the top with something like Preordain or Brainstorm, then we can deal a lot of damage with it. Supreme Will is just a good card. Thassa Blinks cards. I don't know how relevant that is. There's another Ninja of the Deep Hours. Omen of the Sea. Into the Royal is pretty good. Ruin Crab can't attack. That's its biggest problem. Imprisoned in the Moon is interesting removal, but we have black. So I don't know how relevant it would be. There's another counterspell. Spellseeker is very good. Just to tutoring up spells. So is Glenelindra Archmage, countering spells, and it has flying, so it's hard to block. And you can use it comes back with a -1/-1 counter. So you sacrifice it, counter a non-creature spell, comes back, and then you can attack with it and return it, bounce it with a ninja, and then it comes back in without the counter. So it's actually very good in that way. Arcane Denial is very good at arcanely denialing things. A couple of random counter spells. We'll see if those make their way in. Spell Pierce, if you're playing at a higher power level, Spell Pierce becomes better and better. Geez. Okay, Keep Watch. That card's not great. Let's see. This card is in here entirely for the fact that it's foil. So is this one. Should be a mage. Oh wow. Okay, there's a Force of Negation that was stuck in our random foils. I think I'll go ahead and put that in. Again, I'm trying to be higher power level here. There's another Preordain. Some Preordains. Mnemonic Deluge. Delugi. Copy that spell 3 times. Fall from favor. Again, we're going to have black, but there, finally we actually get to the Tribute Mage. 2 or less. I'll check and see what 2 or less cards we have. That seems pretty good. Confiscate is fine. Azure Fleet Admiral. Become the Monarch. Can't be blocked. Another way to draw cards. Put in Confiscate just for now. I don't know about it. Then we have Mana Drain. Yes. This card is just busted. This card makes me lose the ability to speak. This card is very good. And I'm probably a mistake. It was a mistake to print, honestly. So, Thalicos Seer. This one's actually very good. Shadow, if it leaves play, draw a card. Unless this has been errated to say die, this means that if you bounce it with a ninja, you draw the card. So it's essentially unblockable because it's got Shadow. It's not quite unblockable, but how likely is it that your opponent will have creatures with Shadow? And then you can return it to your hand, draw a card, and then still get your ninja triggers. Seems very good. Perplexing Chimera is annoying. No, it's probably too much mana, honestly. A bad Force Spike that is also a land. I don't know. Keep our land count down. That's what it does. Crafty Cut Purse. Mistform Ultimus. This is a ninja. I don't. That's about all I have to say about it. Delver of Secrets. How often we get a flip Delver? I have a blue elemental blast. That's what the J spellbook had, isn't it? It's blue elemental blast? Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, this one looks cooler. Again, I'll put it in because it looks cooler. We'll see. Ray of Command? Memory Lapse is good, counter a spell. Ray of Command is interesting. Steal a creature at instant speed. Thalicos Scout. It's got Shadow. It's a bit expensive. Maybe we'll do that one. Ophidian. Same kind of thing. Ophidian's basically, again, deal. It doesn't actually deal damage, so it's actually kind of worse than a lot of these cards. But it's fine. It does its job. Spell Stutter Sprite. Can counter some spells. I don't know, that's a maybe. That's more of a pauper card. Una's Grace. Alrighty. See, I'm finally getting through all the powerful cards. Will Breaker and Arcane Artisan. Sublime Epiphany is really good if we can get up to the mana. But who knows. Control phase 4. Lofty Nile seems okay. Sea Desert Octopus, if you can mutate it. Again, just another Ophidian. Gataxian Probe, really good. Helps us cycle through our deck. Did I actually already put that in? I did. Haha. I had 2 Gataxian Probes. Helps you cycle through your deck for no mana. Chain of Vapor, also very good. You can return your own stuff. You can copy the spell and then return one of your opponent's things. Very nice. Brazen Borrower is probably fine. We'll see. Discontinuity acts as a counter spell on your turn. pretty interesting, but it also has a high CMC. So if we can cast it for 4 mana, that's great. It's a bad counterspell, but it also has a 6 mana CMC, so it can deal 6 damage to each opponent. Super great if you can get that off. Baron is a mana war on a creature. Mana war is a creature already. I'm losing my mind sometimes. Shark. Ghostly Pilferer. Yeah, Ghostly Pilferer seems good. Just some more untappy synergies. Pongify is probably good enough, even with black. Metallic Rebuke, Master Transmuter, Braids. Some stuff here. Don't have very many enchantments. Okay, so I am probably going to be a jerk here and see if I can pull off Consultation Oracle in this deck. So that's going to be my win condition if I don't kill people with damage, is I'm going to try and cast Demonic Consultation and then Thassa's Oracle and get my opponents and just win the game with this trigger ability here. Agent of Treachery, nice card, good card. High CMC as well. Maybe we'll cast it, probably not, but who knows. Probably should have been a ninja, but then again, they would have had to make some changes. We're actually getting to some more. They would have had to put ninjas in standard again and probably give it ninjutsu. I think every ninja that isn't a changeling has ninjutsu. Speaking of which, here's Miss Syndicate Naga, another ninja, and Moonblade Shinobi, another ninja. We're going to put those in because they're fun. String of Disappearances is a solid maybe. I don't think that it's that good a card. Bizarre Trade Mage, fine. Mirrored and Besieged, Silent Submersible. Oh, there we go. Narset. Narset is perfect. Wonderful card. Prevents our opponents from digging out of the, hopefully, hole that we've put them in. Okay. Just the last bit of blue here. Spark Double is probably pretty good, although I don't necessarily know what we can copy, but it makes it not legendary, so if we get 2 sets of Yuriko triggers, seems really good. Terramander is evasive, so we'll give it a shot. Probably going to get cut now. Game plan, I don't think anyone's going to be assisting us, even though it does have a high CMC. Tightspout Tyrant's cool. So is Peregrine Drake. I don't know how well those will work. Wizard's Retort is interesting. I don't know how many ninjas are wizards or whatever. Chart, of course, is very good because it often is a draw to, which is a thing that we kind of need. I already put Supreme Will in. Kefnet probably isn't doing a whole lot for us. Here we go, Dig Through Time. Delve cards are very good because, again, high CMC. This is an 8 CMC spell. But if we end up with cards in our graveyard and we're blue-black, so it shouldn't be too hard to do that, just even accidentally, then we can delve away part of the cost here so that it's actually cheaper for us to cast. Mind Bomb. That card is bad. Channel's End is honestly okay in Commander, in my opinion. We'll see if it makes it in. Blatant Thievery, probably fine. Another Threads of Disloyalty there. Time Warp, probably what you want to be doing with Yuriko, but I don't know how I'll be able to cast it. Turn Aside is an okay counterspell. Thoughtcast, don't have enough artifacts yet. I'll put it in and maybe think about it. Mental Misstep, very good, especially if you're playing in high level. Countering things with 1 CMC, not that useful in regular, in a lot of games of Commander, but high power level. Counter a Mana Dork, you can counter Elemental Blast, you can counter Swords to Plowshares, all sorts of stuff that could be targeting your things. And Hydroblast is just blue Elemental Blast. There's a little bit of difference on the wording, so it is sometimes different. I don't remember exactly what it is. If I looked at the two side by side, I could probably tell, but basically the same card. Thada Adel, Acquisitor. Island Walk, pretty good. Most people in Commander are probably playing forests or islands or swamps, but islands are definitely up there. It's going to be hard to find a game where an opponent is not playing islands, so that's going to be a good card there. Potentially, we'll see. Lots of good cards. I've just been throwing all the good cards in. We're going to have to make a lot of cuts for this deck, which I kind of anticipated. That's how these things go. Let's get to our next box, which should have black cards. Let's go. Black. Alrighty. Of course, we're going to start off strong here. I just saw one of the cards. Oh, no, it's here. There's one with nothing. Cool. Going to put that in for sure. Oh, here's another one with nothing. Okay. That's fine. Massacre Worm is interesting, but we're not really doing ETBs. What does Funeral Charm do? Interesting. Maybe your creature gains Swamp Walk? That doesn't seem half bad. Viscera Seer. Sadistic Hypnotist. Deadly Tempest it seems like an okay board wipe. Erebos' Intervention seems like a pretty efficient way to get one thing dealt with. Sepulchral Primordial, Eat to Extinction. Gary. Make our opponents discard cards. Some okay board wipe B cards. Soul Shatter is interesting. Goria's Vengeance. I'm going to put that into the maybe pile. Probably not quite what we're looking to do. Doomblade's just a pretty good card. Let's see. Vampire Nighthawk is fine. Yeah. Mire Triton, maybe, because we can real ourselves, and it's got Death Touch, so it's hard for our opponents to want to block it. Still probably not the best. Feed the Swarm, enchantment removal, that's a thing that we'd have trouble with in blue-black. So definitely going to put that in. That card's a house. Plaguecrafter is pretty good. Make our opponent sacrifice some creatures. Taste of Death. Ruinous Path is interesting. I don't know if it's what we're looking for. Combat on your turn. If you control your commander, each opponent loses 3 life. That's not a little. That's not bad for sure. Uncle Istvan. Summon Uncle Istvan. I just wanted to point that out. Blood of the Accursed. Is Victim of Night? Victim of Night's fine. Tormented Soul, there we go. I had one already ready to go, even though it's in there. Custodial Lich draws us some cards, maybe. Midnight Reaper could also draw us cards. Eldest Reborn is interesting. So is Lingering Tormentor, Fear, and Persist. Probably too much mana. Same with Eldest Reborn. This would be a sorcery, otherwise it's great. Blood-Soaked Champion. We're going to do a lot of attacking. Maybe we bring it back. Who knows? Dreadhorde Invasion. It's not Bitter Blossom, but it seems fine. This card's worth a surprising amount of money now for an uncommon from Rivals of Ixalan. People like it a lot. There we go. Both of these. Heartless Act, good card. Good removal spell. Demonic Consultation. So we're going to try and remove all of our library from the game and then cast Thassa's Oracle. And we have a couple of ways to get to that. Gang Up is interesting. Trenchworm, that is actually a Rakdos card, so I couldn't even use it. Antigua Shade's Form. Enchanted creature, blah, blah, blah. Put it to a graveyard, return this to planet control. Interesting. Buried Alive, good card. We don't have that many reanimators yet, so we'll maybe reconsider that, but I'm not looking at it right now. We're not really trying to reanimate anything. Conspiracy, we could make all our creatures ninjas. Same as Arcane Adaptation, good card there. Ruin Rat, we'd probably want that's an interesting card. We probably want the Burglar Rats that make our opponents discard cards, though. Zombie Token, Dead Man's Chest, we enchant our opponent's stuff. Feaster of Fools is fun, probably not for this deck. Unlikely Aid kind of protects a creature, I don't know. Orzhov Enforcer is interesting because it has Death Touch, and Afterlife, so it makes actually, yeah, I'll put that as a maybe. Probably not what we're looking to do. Bond of Revival. There's another card to reanimate something. Death Denied. Putrid Goblin. Mortician Beetle. Good cards for aristocracy strategies. Not necessarily good cards for the strategies that we are looking in here. Liturgy of Blood. Nightshade Harvester. This card seems fine. Honestly. Whenever a land enters your battlefield under your opponent's control, they lose a life and you put a counter on it. We'll try that out maybe. Vampiric Tutor, super important. I might not have explained this in the when I was talking about Mystical Tutor from earlier, but the fact that Vampiric Tutor and Mystical Tutor both put cards on top of your library is actually a benefit in Yuriko because, again, when the trigger goes on the stack, you can cast them at instant speed, put a card on top of your library, and make sure that your opponents lose a lot of life. So Those cards get even better in Yuriko. They're already very good. I mean, there's a reason this card was $100 before it got reprinted in Commander Legends. Even though it was an uncommon at one point, I think it was uncommon. I think that whole cycle of tutors was uncommon in Visions and then 6th edition, which is just crazy. Those cards are absolutely... I mean, their price was astronomical for uncommons. Thorn of the Black Rose is interesting. We can become the Monarch, and it has Death Touch. Seems fine. Probably not the best card, though, in the world. Quombage Witches is interesting. They are wizards, so they could help us with our counterspell. That was a wizard counterspell. Lots of Thorns of the Black Rose. These steal our opponent's cards, but they cost a lot of mana, not what we're trying to do. Opposition Agent, great card. Perfect for what we're trying to do here. Steal our opponent's stuff, have things that have rogues, have cheap cards, flash threats, all sorts of stuff. Really good. And just going to annoy our opponents, probably. We'll swap out the Feed the Swarm for a foil one. We'll try and just we're going all out on the expense of this deck. Swap that for a foil one. Inscription of Ruin, I believe it just doesn't do enough. Yeah. It's just not quite good enough. Same with Blood Chief's Thirst, but here's a card I think that people should be playing more in Commander. Vendetta. Destroy target non-black creature at instant speed for 1 black mana. You lose some life. You lose life equal to its toughness, so it's like reverse Swords to Plowshares, where you lose life instead of them gaining life. I think that card is super underplayed. I've almost never seen it in Commander. It is kind of hard to get a hold of. It was printed in Mercadian Masks and Zendikar. Great card, though. And I would recommend playing it if you have the ability to do so. Rancid Earth. You can destroy lands for Stone Rain mana. Sacrifice Blood Pet. Blood Pet's an interesting one. It probably goes better in combo, like straight up combo decks. This card makes no sense. This card has Menace. We can maybe Cabal Therapy our opponent. Probably not. Probably not worth it. Another time token dies, put counter on it. Clerics. Interesting. That card seems good. Scourge of the Skyclaves. That's good in some other decks. Maybe not necessarily this deck as much. The Shade is cool. Can't block. Nether Spirit's not going to be the only creature in our graveyard. These are some weird foily cards. Forerunner of the Coalition, good in a pirate deck. Pirates just got some support, so if you can make a Grixis pirate deck, that card just got better. Sinkhole, just destroy your opponent's lands for no real reason. There we go. Thieves Guild Enforcer. Sort of an interesting thing. Ninjas might not be enough to fill out the deck, so if we can do a sort of rogue sub-theme and sort of mill our opponent's sub-theme, that'd be pretty interesting. Hooded Blightfang. Actually, a lot of our creatures do have Death Touch, at least from what I've been putting in there. So let's see if that card has any legs. Pestilent Spirit. Interesting, more in a Mardu-ish deck, I believe, probably. I wonder if Knight of the Ebon Legion is worth it. It's an interesting one. I'll look at it, give it a shot. Dread Presence. Dread Presence is good. I don't know how many swamps. I don't have an Urborg, so Dread Presence doesn't do a whole lot in this deck. Midnight Reaper, I think I've already passed one, but I'll actually put that in there because, if our creatures die, pretty good. Oubliette, really good removal spell at this point because you can make your opponent's commanders disappear and they can't put them back in the command zone, which is quite nice. Night Squad Commando, we're going to be attacking a lot, but the value, I think, is not there. Just a 1/1 token isn't quite what we're looking for. Timurit Calls the Dead. Inevitable End. That one could make your opponent sacrifice creatures, but if they're smart, they just sacrifice the thing that's enchanted. One of these cards. Cauldron of Eternity is interesting, but we're not really milling ourselves, and I think it's kind of a trap anyway. Wishclaw Talisman, another tutor. Very good. I do have a Demonic Tutor. I don't know if I will... It's not in this deck. It's in my Saskia deck. So I might proxy a Demonic Tutor, or I might just try and make this one without a Demonic Tutor. That's the weirdest card I've ever read. I mean, that's the reason I own it, but very strange. Wow. Would never have guessed that card existed. Audacious Thief. I wonder if it's probably not going to make it in. We'll see. Leyland of the Void. Interesting idea. might work. Unholy Indenture. Some Sorens. Don't have that many vampires, unfortunately. Some really good cards for a bunch of other effects. Dead of Winter. Not going to be playing Snowlands, so not the best. Well, I mean, I could. What is it? -X, -X. X is the number of snow permanents you control. I mean, that could just be a really good card. Finale. Return all creature cards from grid. Interesting. Bolas' Citadel, good card draw engine. Yeah, we'll put Finale of Eternity in there as well. The Elder Spell, not necessarily what we're... Font of Agony is a pretty cool card. Love the flavor on it. Haven't played it in any decks yet. Not that heavy in black. Again, we don't have an Urborg, so we have no way of making our non-swamps swamps. So we're not that consistent. Push this back up. Some more Vampire Synergies. Vraska's Contempt. Sleep Siphoner is a rogue. Maybe helps us draw cards. It has Menace. I think we're pretty good, honestly, on cards that we have here. Fume Spitter. Skulk is interesting. She's with greater power. Skulk's an interesting one. Hand attack generally isn't good. Here we go. Here's another Murderous Cut, another Delve spell. I don't know why I held it like that. 5 mana, but we could potentially get it to as low as 1 black, depending on how we do. Gurmag Angler would probably also make it in, but it's probably just not impactful enough. 5/5 generally isn't as good in just Commander. Profane Command is interesting. We don't have very many big creatures. That card probably seems good. I like Profane Command. All right, then we're into red cards there. So let's put these up. We have a stack of cards. We still have multicolored cards, Dimir specifically, so that means I have fewer cards to look through than I usually would in, because I usually do like 3-color decks, or at least up till now I've done a lot of 3-color decks recently. So it's nice to have my decisions kind of limited a little bit. And then artifacts and lands. So put this one up. Put it away. Wow, this is a thick stack of cards. Man, and especially when you combine it with this absolutely massive pile of cards from over here. That's a lot of cards, probably getting close to 200. So it's gonna have to cut down a lot for this deck, but I don't think it's gonna be too difficult. So, okay, Dimir is right here. That's Azorius. I don't know if there's a better way to... Yeah, we'll just do it that way. Okay, so there's some Azorius cards. But then we get to Dimir here. So we'll put... No, stop. Okay, we'll put the Azorius cards back in here. Dimir, Connive, Concoct, gain control. Seems good. Silumgar's Command. Destroy trigger play. This card seems fine. That card might get cut. Shadowmage Infiltrator. Another Ophidian, but with fear, so it's really hard to block. Seems good. Dustmantle Seer is interesting. Party Bob. Might put it in for fun. Probably going to get cut, though. Baleful Strix we already put in. And then there's another Baleful Strix from a different set. Atriths is a fun card. Oh, maybe, I'll consider it. Aromi, we're not going to be milling too much, so probably not worth it to put in a mill theme card. Should be able to... Okay, and then that's just the mass balance. Not great. Soul Diviner, interesting. Una, probably not going to mill our opponents, like I said. Lockmere Serpent, not quite what we're doing. Soaring Thought Thief, Flash Flying. Rogue stuff. Zareth San, so... Again, we might have a rogue sub-theme, so we'll see. So both of these cards are probably going to get in. Zarathan can return cards from our opponent's graveyards to play, and it basically has rogue ninjutsu. So that's very interesting. Fallen Shinobi, very good ninja. Of course it goes in. Sleeper's Robe basically has fear, gives a card fear and an Ophidian, so pretty good there. Cunning Nightbonder, we'll see. A lot of spells might have flash. That's sort of a flash tribal card. Ashiok is just a great card, prevents your opponents from tutoring. Etrata is probably too much mana because we're never going to get her other ability unless you build the deck around her. She shuffles back into her library in the library, so we don't really have a way to draw her out, or we don't have a way to blink her, which is kind of unfortunate. Good card. Drown in the Loch, super good card. This card's been making waves in other formats, and rightfully so. It was always really good, and people just didn't give it the credit it deserved. So yeah, lots of good Dimir cards there. Put those in the pile, and I actually had a one of the Fallen Shinobis. I actually had one, and I traded it for a Hogak as I opened the pack, and then because I thought I had another one, but it turns out I didn't. So I had to go and actually buy a Fallen Shinobi at one point to get that card back where it needed to be in my collection. Various puzzle box. Staff of Domination is pretty good. I don't quite know if it makes the cut. Felwar Stone is very good. Did you know there's a card called Rocket Launcher? Way back in Revised, I think is what this one's from. Corrupted Graphstone, I don't know. Pure Flagship. Ashnod's Altar's cool. Skull Clamp? Did we put in Skull Clamp? Maybe. Give the Skull Clamp a maybe there for sure. Scrabbling Claws. Just a way to get rid of our opponent's graveyard. If we have a Soul Guide Lantern, I'd probably rather put that in. We're looking for efficient mana rock, so that's why I'm passing over some of the other things. Ornithopters are probably fine, although actually I think I have a different art that I'd like to use. Ornithopters are probably good because, they're 0 mana cards, so you guarantee that you can play them on turn 1, and then you can ninjutsu them. And you can ninjutsu them on the turn because you don't have to cast. You don't have to have any extra mana to cast them again. Good stuff. Genesis Chamber, Mimic Vat. Not a whole lot here. Another Blasting Station there. Like I said, though, we're looking for 2 mana rocks if we can get away with it, because I want this deck to be pretty efficient. I say, having put in some super inefficient cards. Jeweled Amulet's pretty good. That goes better in like an Artifacty Stormy deck, though, which is what I have planned for it. So yeah, cards like Felwar Stone. And Felwar Stone's actually really good in this deck because, again, who's going to not be playing blue and black? Scroll Rack, very good. Manipulate the top card of our library so that we can make sure that Yuriko is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Codex Shredder. Fine. I'll consider Charcoal. I'll consider the diamonds. They're probably not going to make it in, but I'll consider them. Foundry Inspector, we don't have enough artifacts for that. Some of these are pretty expensive. Graphed Warrior doesn't do anything for us. Commander Sphere is playable, though. CDH playable. I mean, it's in Casual Commander, it's actually really good. Like, people underestimate that card a lot. Mask of Memory, good way. Also a good way to get stuff into our graveyard if we actually do need to do that. If we have some incidental graveyard synergies. So, Sky Diamond. There we go. Shimmer Mirror gives our artifacts flash. I don't know how useful that would be. There's another Codex Shredder. Lots of stuff from Commander Legends in here. Arcane Signet, found one. We need one of those. Probably was going to find one when I look through some Commander decks in a second. But it's always good to know that you have it, right? That you have the card that's important to your strategy. And by that I mean a card that does a thing that adds mana. Relic Vial. What is Heartstone? Just by 1. I wonder if this works because it reduces cost of creature activation abilities. I wonder if it reduced ninjutsu costs. It probably does, honestly. I'm just not going to use it. Because, why not? Swords are probably pretty good, but Mishra's Bauble. Dramatic Scepter. I could Dramatic Scepter, but I don't actually have that many mana rocks. Everflowing Chalice seems like an okay one. Basilisk Collar, Death Touch, and Lifelink. It's a good thing to do. I should put should I put in Cranial Plating just because I can equip it at instant speed with its ability here, its attach ability, so that way when I ninjutsu something in, I can equip it. That seems like a bad idea. Okay, here we go. Draco, highest converted mana cost in the game, 16. This card's bad. This card is real bad. Also, completely unrelated. You can see the resolution change, how this artwork, because this is printed on the mystery booster, so it's a new printing of the card, and you can see the artwork is super high resolution, and then the border is not. The border, you can almost see the pixels, like it's kind of barely enough resolution for the print, and that just shows you that back when plane shift or whatever this was planar. It's not planar. Okay, it was plane shift. Back in Plane Shift, they really did have high quality scans of the artwork, but they weren't updating the frame yet. Anyway, deal 16 to our opponent. Card's bad. Otherwise, we could maybe get a 12 mana 9/9 flyer with an upkeep cost of 6. Seems bad. Probably have to find a way to discard that, but we can deal 16 damage to our opponent, and that just seems fun, right? Sometimes you got to make concessions for fun. Ornithopter, there we go. It's going to be less interesting, less good, but or it's going to be more interesting. It's going to be less good. Phyrexian Revokers, maybe, honestly. Maybe we can stop our opponents from doing stuff. Scrap Heap Scrounger comes back. Probably not efficient enough. Some talismans. Changeling. Oh yes, Universal Automaton is a ninja. That's what I was talking about for changelings earlier. So keep putting the Universal Automaton in is good. Did I not have the? I'll have to look in Modern. I'm going to look at Modern Horizons anyway. I'll have to look in Modern Horizons to get the black card that's unblockable. The card that's basically the outcast, but is also a changeling, so it's also a ninja. Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds is probably good enough in blue-black. Where we don't have too much fixing. Here we go. Talisman of Dominance. One of the talismans. Another 2-mana ramp piece. Good card. Good card. Command Tower. Probably my favorite art for Command Tower, so it's good that we got that one. Emergence Zone can give our cards flash. I don't know how much that matters. Watery Grave, so that we can have really good fixing. Manamo, so that we can potentially return Yuriko to our hand if she is going to get killed. Even though, we can just ninjutsu it out of the command zone for 2 again. We can do some shenanigans with Manamo, though. Some interesting stuff. So, I think Manamo is a good card in the Ninja's deck. These are just some guild gates and stuff. I thought I had a Terramorphic Expanse, maybe. Put that in. Do I actually have? I do have the blue-black one of these. This is bad. I think those are honestly fine in Casual Commander. And in fact, if I put in Soul Diviner where I can remove a counter, I believe those cards get way better. But there's no guarantee that I'm going to have both of those cards at the same time. Those are probably better for monocolor decks. The temples, the tap lands, the tap for a color, you can sack, tap for 2, so sort of rituals on a land. Or, again, I think those are very good. Oh, I did have a Drowned Catacomb. Cool. Drowned Catacomb. Those are actually, I think, very good at monocolor decks. You give you a little bit of burst of mana. Sometimes you just need. Command Beacon. Probably not really necessary. Path of Ancestry. Maybe we can get some ninjas with that one. Urza's Power Plant. Artifact Synergy, probably not. Maybe even Reliquary Tower? I don't know, though. Reliquary Tower is always... Yeah, we'll try. Reliquary Tower is always an type of thing. Never know what's going to happen. Frostmarsh. Don't really have a way to play with snow. Tectonic Edge is good. High Market's good. Again, if we take control of creatures, it seems pretty good. Symbol of Deceit seems okay. Works. Yes. So I'm going to get all of my Theros lands and use them in this deck. So I'm going to pull these foils out now while that happens. Before I need to... gosh, I don't even know what I was going to say. Man, I just completely lost my train of thought. I apologize to everyone watching. Field of Ruin, Temple, Submerged Boneyard is tapped. Did I not have... I'm pretty sure I have the little double face card for... Oh, Fabled Passage. There we go. It's better than the other cards I was putting in. Just show me up like that. Can't put any of those in, unfortunately, because there were 3. Cottage is fine. Oh, if I can find the Mystical Sanctuary or whatever. Path, some of my promo cards. I'm pretty sure... I'll have to look. I'm pretty sure I have the Dimir Pathway. We'll see if I can find it real quick. Oh, you know what? It's probably in my Soul Tide deck, and I'm not going to go get it out. Don't have any spare fetches. They are all in my Saskia deck. Here's some promos and stuff. Get a Soul Ring from here, maybe. There actually is a promo that I want. Let's see. Not any of these. I can put that Dimir card in. I have a promo Soul Diviner there. Let's see if I can just put these Artifactios and Landies back in before I spill a lot of near mint cards all over the floor. I'm already messing them up. God, I need to take better care of my cards. I take pretty good care of my cards. At least I think I do. I've seen how some other people take care of their cards, and sometimes it's crazy, man. Fluster Storm seems all right, honestly. Caliphate. Fae of Wishes. No sideboards in Commander. Okay, let's see if I can find... Oh, yes, I know what card I'm looking for. Now I don't need any of these, really. Yeah. None of the Teferi's cards. Esper Worm. Ruin Crab. No, don't need most of those. Okay, but I do know what I need. Okay, this thing is full of sleeves, and I hope it doesn't fall down. I hope it does not fall down. Okay. Pathways. I could do Tevishat. Tevishat's cool. So, Jace. I have a couple of this Jace. I think I'll use the one that isn't in Japanese so that I can actually read it. But this one's cool. This one's Ifoili. Swan Song. Definitely want that. Super efficient counterspell. Baleful Strix. I like the art on this. I honestly prefer the old art, though. There's a Japanese Narset. Could have put that in instead. You can see that the Pringles... I don't know why I was using that joke almost ironically, but I shouldn't do it because I don't think it's that bad. I say, as you know, the cards look like this in some cases, but like it could be worse, and I probably should have stored them better. If I had stored them properly in like a binder or something, they wouldn't be curling nearly as much. I have some cards that I played with this almost as soon as I got them. By the way, that's the Serum Visions I think that fits this deck most. So we'll put in a Serum Visions. Again, basically like preordained. It's a good way to keep the top of our deck organized so that Yuriko can get her triggers. All right, so there's that. That is all the way through the regular, rare, and interesting boxes that I have. So the next step is I know that there are a couple cards that I didn't get copies of. This Jace, I don't know if I finished saying that this is basically like a backup Thassa's Oracle. But of course, anyone who knows that combo knows that that's what that Jace is for. So we're going to look for a couple of cards that I know I didn't find, and then start deck building. So there's a couple cards. Let's see. This is the first box that I happen to have. Okay, this is Guilds of Ravnica over here. War of the Spark in the middle. Modern Horizons. Core set 2020. Regular 2020. Okay. This has some cards that I'm looking for in here, I believe. Does it even? Does it? No, actually, I think it... No, it's got... Yeah, Modern Horizons has some cards that I'm looking for. So, I'm gonna quickly look through blue and black in Modern Horizons. Like I say, I have my Snowlands here for Modern Horizons, but I might try to... I'm probably not going to go with Snowlands, even though they're pretty cool. Cunning Invasion. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to its owner's hand. Good card for that type of thing. This was made with the ninjas archetype in mind, so it's got some pretty good card for ninjas. Factor Fiction's all right. We'll see if that. Fairy Seer, also a really good one-drop, kind of evasive. Another Mill Turtle, Moonblade Shinobi. We already have that in there. That card's fine. Phantom Ninja, good card. Like Phantom Warrior. It also just is a ninja, so it triggers Yuriko even if we don't ninjutsu anything out. Prohibit's actually fine. I don't know if it's going to be too great for us, honestly, but Prohibit seems fine. Return selection from your to the battlefield attached to that creature. That's an interesting one. We'll take a look at that. Probably going to cut it, but it seems fine. Spell Snuff. Thought Stream. It's an okay card. Watcher for Tomorrow, good with the sort of bouncing things. Twisted Reflection could be a removal spell. Who knows? I mean, it definitely is a removal spell. I just don't know if it's good enough to actually put in my deck. Is what I mean. What I mean to say. Target creature you control gains indestructible. Yeah, another ninja. We'll see if that one is enough to make the cut. There it is. Changeling Outcast. This card that can't block, can't be blocked, and is also a ninja. Defile, very good removal spell. I can't believe I just have a bunch of Defiles still sitting in my pile of commons and uncommons. That seems... even a Gravedigger Changeling honestly doesn't seem bad. Probably not going to make the cut, but that's not what this is about. Mob has Convoke. That's an interesting one. This ninja, probably the worst ninja, just does 6 damage, which is honestly like a pretty interesting take on ninjas, but I don't think it's going to make the cut. Ransack the Lab is like strategic planning. Good card. Like it. I mean, basically just a black card draw spell. Exploit. Unblocked attacking ninjas you control have lifelink. I don't know if that's... Ooh, Unearth. Gosh, I have just copies of Unearth hanging out. I'm actually going to just pull these out. I don't know why I have it. Unearth seems good in that deck. Unearth is also just a good card. I don't know why I have so many copies of Unearth just hanging out there. We'll take out. We'll look at Throat Seeker. We'll pull it out. Are there any other cards in here that Corset 2020... Oh, I look at it and there's a Spectral Sailor. Seems like a fine card, honestly. Not too much I'm seeing. Obviously, I'm not looking most. Murmuring Mystic's interesting. Disdainful Stroke. Spark Harvest. I don't think that... Yeah. Jace's Triumph. Contentious Plan. Do some proliferating. Yeah, okay. I don't think that this box has much more for us at the moment. if this was, you know, my standard deck building, just me without the camera on, I'd probably pour through the box and look through all the uncommons. But I also think I know what I want with this deck. So let's look at the recent cards. So this is these actually are unlabeled: Theros, Ikoria, and Corset 2021. So let's look at Corset 2021, which actually has a card right here from Modern Horizons in it. So the card I want, that I know I want from this, let's see if it's in here. Yes, Waker of Waves. So again, this has the same thing. It's 7 mana, but it has a 2 mana sleight of hand effect, so I can discard it. So I can deal 7 damage to my opponent, but still be able to use it without casting the slightly clunky Whale. Archfiend's Vessel is interesting. Bad Deal is a bad deal. Not a good card. That's how you teach people about cards that are bad, apparently. Finishing Blow has interesting art. Gourmand. Okay. Grasp of Darkness, I wonder if that's worth it. Maybe Kitesail Freebooter as well. Village Rites is probably pretty good. Good way to draw some cards if your creatures are going to get killed. Witch's Cauldron. Alright, yeah. I don't think there's a whole lot there. So let's look at, where did I put the lands from? Here they are. So let's go to Theros, and we'll pull out all the islands and all the swamps. And that's probably going to be more than enough basics for the deck. So we'll probably have to put some back in a minute. But there we go. Got all this. What other cards were we looking for? Probably not a whole lot from this set. These sets of sets. These were fine, but not exactly your sort of ninja-y sets. Mire's Grass, Mobius Favor, Omen of the Dead, Scavenging Harpy, Hierophant. Thirst for Meaning is interesting. Aurelios Enraptured. Ichthyomorphosis. Yeah, okay. Then quick look through Thorn of Eldraine, which is broken. All the cards in it are broken. Reeve Soul, Smitten Swordmaster, Tempting Witch, Wicked Guardian. Wishful Merfolk, Witching Well, Bake into a Pie. We already had Cauldron Familiar is interesting. Probably not good in this deck. Yeah. Okay. Probably not too many commons and uncommons. Runaway Together is actually pretty interesting. I don't think it makes it in. I don't think it would even be close, really, but it actually does have some consideration. I think in lower power commander games, I think Runaway Together is actually pretty good. Let's see here. Animating Fairy. Didn't say please. Merfolk that mills. Opt? Do I not have an opt yet? If I don't have an opt yet. An opt's an opt. Opts are good. Okay. Okay, here's another box. Let's see. Okay. And it's got Cons of Tarkir. So the other Delve card that I was looking for, if we can find it in here, is I was absolutely looking for what is it? It's called Treasure Cruise. It's Treasure Cruise. I was absolutely looking for a copy of Treasure Cruise. And it looks like it might not be in here. I would have thought that there would be a Treasure Cruise in here. But no, the way it looks, there isn't one, at least right there. So let's get back to this other, less sorted part of cons. Just got Wind Scout. Red cards. Green cards. Multicolor cards. Okay. Come on. Okay. Behave yourself. I tell pieces of cardboard. I am a crazy person. Cancel was in Cons of Tarkir? And Disdainful Stroke? Wow. Okay. So, it appears that, yeah. So, I'll have to try and find it somewhere else. I don't know where it would be. Let's see if there's some other cards in here that I would want. If I could find a Slitherblade Amonkhet, let's see if I can find a Slitherblade in Amonkhet. I mean, these should be. Yes, there we go. Slitherblade can't be blocked. 2 toughness can't be blocked. 1 mana, 2 toughness. This card's actually really good. These cards are also in order. They're in alphabetical order. That is the word. And then Ixalan had. Was it Ixalan or Rivals of Ixalan? I think it was Rivals of Ixalan, which is over here, whereas Ixalan's here, Rivals is here. I think it's Rivals that has the other unblockable, the Miscloaked Herald. So negate, already have a negate. Okay, I don't see any in there currently. Dinosaur Hunter. Golden Demise is actually kind of interesting. Chupacabra's cool. Actually, I mean, Chupacabra just goes in like every deck, doesn't it? Just a Necrotal. So I believe, I know I have Welcome decks. Okay. So I believe one of these Welcome decks, it couldn't have been this one though, because this one is the Amonkhet Welcome decks. One of the Welcome decks actually has a Miscloaked Herald. But I believe it is a different. I believe it is the one that was like the core 2019 Welcome deck had one, which is just funny. Let's see if there's any. Omen Speakers are fine, but they're not the power level I'm going for here. Assassinates. Hey, saw some of those earlier. Hand of Silumgar. Last Gasp. That new Kaldheim card that's like Last Gasp, but you lose life or something. Card seems good. Card seems real good. Okay, so is there anything else in here that I want? Maybe something from Eldritch Moon. Are there good cards in Eldritch Moon? Maybe. Skulk. If I could find a Skulk, that'd be really good. Nope. Take inventories. Certain Death. Yeah, nothing particularly good in there. And Eldritch Moon. I just don't have a lot of cards for a lot of these other sets, so nothing that I think would be super good for this deck in here. Okay, cool. And then I could try and look at my super old cards. I do have another box with my cards to 1998, but I think I'm going to just go ahead and take a look at my Commander decks and stuff, or the Commander precons and some other things like that to find the cards that I want. So not really gonna dig out my box of super old cards. It is currently under like 3 other boxes. That's why I'm just being lazy. But I'm gonna pull out this Commander Toolkit box here that I had earlier. And I'm gonna look for a Miscloaked Herald, because it's possible that I have it, as you might see here, it says Kamena Merfolk. So this is a Merfolk deck, the the start of a Merfolk deck that I was building a long time ago. I never really got the right set of cards for it, but it's possible that, see, I have a River Snake here. And there we are. There's a Mistcloaked Herald. I think this works better in this sort of Yuriko deck right now, and I can always find another one later, So I'm going to put that in there, and it's entirely possible that I have a Treasure Cruise in here somewhere. But it's also possible. I've actually never pulled this out before. This other box I'm about to pull out. This is my cube toolkit box. And basically it's a bunch of cards that I've cut from my main cube that I was going to build other cubes with. Maybe some lower power level. I kind of yearn for lower power level sometimes. And there, Treasure Cruise. There it is. Perfect. That was super easy. So we have pulled the Treasure Cruise out. This one's the played one. I didn't get that one new. I thought I had more copies of Treasure Cruise. I think I have like 3. It's only a common, and it's never even been particularly expensive. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this box, which is some random precons and stuff that I've had, and I'm going to go back in the back here. That is a Goblin Welder, and then this deck is the event deck, I believe, for something. Was an event deck, and I believe it has it has Dismember, which is also a good card. Birthing Pod doesn't go in this deck, but it has Diabolic Tutor. This is going to be my replacement for Demonic Tutor. I decided that I'm not going to pull Demonic Tutor out of my other deck, but I could put in Dismember. Dismember seems good. Again, it's like a 3 mana card, but you can cast it for 1, so it keeps your efficiency up. It's like a mini version of that type of effect. Okay. So next, these precons are the newer precons, and I don't think they necessarily have. What is this? Oh, there's a Coiling Oracle. Probably want a Swiftfoot Boots and a Soul Ring. We'll just rip that right out of this deck. Whatever the heck this deck was. I think this is the AC deck. Yeah, it's the AC deck. We'll just pull some cards right out of it as a Fact or Fiction. Maloku. Peel from Reality is good. Acidic Slime. Yeah, that's the AC deck right there. And then this deck is the Calimax deck. So let's see if it's got some blue cards we want. Jace, maybe? Frantic Search seems good. Talrand. We already put an Arcane Signet. Lightning Griefs. There we go. Solemn Simulacrum honestly doesn't seem terrible in this type of deck. I know I passed up, actually. I'm remembering now. I passed up one of the cool looking versions of Solemn Simulacrum. One of the new showcase Solemn Simulacrums. So maybe that was a mistake on my part. Okay. This is getting a bit long, so I am going to next look at exactly one more thing, I believe. I'm going to look at my other Commander precons, and I'm going to look specifically at the deck that Yuriko came in, which is Commander 2018, the Amanatu deck. Amanatu, the Fate Shifter. So we have Amanatu here. And so this has some amount of, it has another Loyal Subordinate that I could have pulled out. But this will have some amount of top deck manipulation, like Brainstorm here. Dream Cache, which is basically Sorcery Speed Brainstorm. It's got the Ninja already. Portent is interesting. Good. predict. Who knows? Telling Time is very good. And I thought it had a Ponder. It does have a Dimir Signet, though, which is a card we're definitely going to play, maybe even Mind Stone. And there's a Soul Ring. Submerged Boneyard. Not a lot of good... Oh, there it is. It's at the back. Lonely Sandbar, probably. Halimar Depth seems fine. Guild Gates, Command Tower. Scrying, if it's a basic land card, put it on the benefit tab. Isolated Watchtower, and then there's a Ponder. So, yeah. Look at that. I don't know that there... I guess I can put this deck back with the Commander at least a little bit. Not that it matters very much. I should probably really just organize my, Commander decks into my precons into interesting cards, because I'm ripping cards out of them faster than you can say something that you can say. But yeah, so there's probably some good and interesting cards. I probably have to, don't I? I've just remembered that my Gavi deck comes with. If we're gonna make it high powered, you gotta put Fierce Guardianship in it. I don't have Deadly Rollick. I don't own the card. Nimble Obstructionist also seems good. In that deck. So, okay. Now, I do have some number of cards that I want. A lot of cards that I want, actually. I think running myself ragged. I possibly have 200 cards. I've been thinking about this deck for a while, so... I have more than 200 cards, for sure, I think. This pile over here. There's this pile, and that's not even all of it. There's this pile as well, which has some of the basic lands, so it's not as high. I'm actually going to go through a bit of a different strategy for building the deck here. I'm going to go through and I'm going to take out the cards that I think objectively should be in the deck. And then that might exclude most of the stuff that I just thought was fun to put in, which is a bit unfortunate, but we'll see what happens. First off, I'm going to separate the lands. So I'm going to separate the basics from this thing. I'm going to find those basics. Okay, so we've got basics here. I'm going to separate the other lands. So Watchtower, Sandbar. Let's flip this over. Then there's our basics. And I think 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, we're going to have more than enough basics. So let's see how that goes. And then I had more lands in this pile somewhere, probably near the end. Yep, there they are. Swan Song, Fabled Passage stuff, and lands. Okay, so put those lands off to the side. And then, like I said, cards that I think should definitely go in the deck. So we'll start with Seer Visions and this Jace. Actually, we'll put those up there because they're kind of make that sound. Fierce Guardianship is a shoe-in. We'll put Nimble Obstructionist in the maybe pile. Ponder is 1 mana. Mind Stone we'll put in the maybe pile. The Dimir Signet is definitely. Telling Time's good. Portent's fine. Dreamcatch is fine. Solemn is fine. Lightning Greaves goes in. Frantic Search gets in. Soul Ring, of course, gets in, of course. Of course. A horse is a horse. Swiftfoot gets in. Dismember, good removal. Diabolic Tutor. I went out of my way to search for it. Same with Treasure Cruise. Gets in. Mistcloaked Herald and Slitherblade both get in. Good. Unblockable 1-drops. Opt. Yeah. Village Rites. Yes. Even though this card isn't very good, I want it in. So that's, my choice. Spectral Sailor is a maybe. Throat Seeker is a maybe. On Earth is always a good card. It's probably a maybe, but considering how many creatures we have with converted mana cost 3 or less, it's good, and it always cycles. So it's always just 2 mana draw 1, regardless of how bad it is. Ransack the Lab seems pretty good. Mob is a maybe. So is this Grave Shifter, probably not as good. Defile, very good removal spell. Changeling Outcast definitely gets in. Azra Smoke Shaper, I'm going to put in all the ninjas for now. So we'll see if I even need to cut. Watch Over Tomorrow is probably a maybe. Smoke Shroud is a maybe. So is Prohibit. We have an Unblockable Ninja at 3 mana. Fairy Seer is pretty good. Fact or Fiction, good card draw spell. Cunning Evasion, I think that one gets in for sure. More ramp, Talisman of Dominance. Revoker can go away. Oh, that's a land. Automaton, very good. Ornithopter, good. Draco, for the memes. Might not be the best card in the world, but it's for the memes. We'll put Cranial Plating and Everflying Chalice to the side. Definitely keep it in an Arcane Signet, though. It goes in 2 mana. Ornithopter, 0 mana. Oh, this Swan Song was supposed to be in. I don't know if... the Swan Song is definitely in. Sky Diamonds, maybe. Mask of Memory is good. Commander Sphere is good. Charcoal Diamond goes in the maybes. Scribing Claws also goes in the maybes. Scroll Rack, very good. Skull Clamp, I actually need to evaluate a little bit better. Felrush Stone's good. Drown on the Lock, amazing spell, like I said. Super modal, destroys creatures, counter spells, good. Ashiok can lock down our opponents. We'll need to check how many cards with Flash, some of these cards that synergize with only certain types of cards. Need to check on Sleeper's Robe, it seems pretty good. Fallen Shinobi is a ninja. Zerasan, we'll put Rogue Tribal again to the side for the moment. See how many rogues we have. Atris I want to put in. Same thing with Dustmantle Seer, but those don't seem that great. Shadow Mage Infiltrator, or they seem like they, they're kind of on the edge. Silumgar's Command, also on the edge for me. Same with Connive Concoct, interesting card. Profane Command. We'll put in like one of these for sure, I think, but we'll figure out which one it is later. Murderous Cut. Oh, I guess I should put it in the 5-mana slot, but it's more like these cards where it's like not necessarily in there for that. Vampire Cutthroat is on the chopping block as far as Skulk cards go. It is a rogue, though. So we'll put that in the rogue tribal stat thing. Ballista Citadel and Finale to Eternity are alright. Leyline of the Void. Probably pretty good. Audacious Thief, also a rogue. Put that in the rogue tribal thing. Witchclaw Talisman, our replacement for Demonic Tutor. Very good. Oubliette gets in. Midnight Reaper, maybe. Same for Knight of the Ebon Legion and Hooded Blightfang there. Thieves Guild Enforcer, rogue. Vendetta definitely gets in. Easy removal spell. Feed the Swarm, same thing. Opposition Agent is a rogue, but that one is just getting in no matter what. Thorn of the Black Rose. That's probably a maybe. Vampiric Tutor gets in. Nightshade Harvester, probably. It's an elf, so who knows. Orange Hive Enforcer is a rogue. We'll put that in the rogue tribal one. Conspiracy is interesting. Probably too much mana, but I'm going to put it in because I like laughing. Demonic Consultation gets in because that's our combo. Heartless Act, good removal. Dreadhorde Invasion, pretty good. Bloodsuck Champion, maybe. Probably too much mana for a couple of these here. Low Subordinate's good because we do just want to kill our opponent. Bladecrafter is good. There's a feed this one that's not getting in. Mire Triton. Doomblade probably going to get in. Gorya's Vengeance. I don't know if we have that many cards to actually reanimate with it. Abel's Intervention is nice and flexible. Deadly Tempest is a maybe. If we do actually need a board wipe. Funeral Charm. Rage against Swamp Walk. Thought Adele gets in because we could steal our opponent's artifact. And of course a couple of 1-mana counter spells. Gets in. Still haven't thought about Thoughtcast. Probably not going to have enough artifacts to actually do it. Turnicide is very good. Time Warp is great. Blatant Thievery, probably too much mana, and we don't really have a way to cast it for free. Tail's End's fine. Dig Through Time, of course, gets in. Charter Course. We don't have that many wizards. We'll need to check on that. Peregrine Drake is cool. Tidespot Tyrant's just a way to end the game that's funny. I know I said that Blatant Thievery is too much mana. This might be too much mana as well. Terramander, pretty good. Spark Double seems fine. We'll keep it for now. String of Disappearances, nah. A Ninja, so of course we're keeping it. A Ninja, so of course we're keeping it. Agent of Treachery is a rogue and also pretty cool. There's the other part of our combo. Faucet's Oracle. Pongify, good removal spell. Ghostly Pilferer, another rogue. Another way to pay that off. Could also be a Time Warp, basically. Brazen Borer seems fine. Chain of Vapor, very good. Sea Dasher Octopus, probably don't need it. Lofty Denial, probably don't need Ophidian. This one's the one that's bad. Thalicos Scout, not nearly as good as Thalicos Deceiver. Ray of Command's fine. I'll put it in the maybe, though. Memory Lapse, good card. Blue Elemental Blast. Thalicos Seer, there we go, very good. Mana Drain, very good. Azure Fleet Admiral, but maybe Tribute Mage we need to check on, see if there's anything good for us to get. Force of Negation is just amazing. Spell Pierce is pretty good. Essence Scatter and Keep Safe, who knows? Arcane Denial is very good, so is Glenelendra Archmage. Spell Seeker, pick up a card. Into the Royal, Supreme Will, good cards. Ponder, very good. Sagashima's Will is actually honestly a maybe, so is Muldrifter. Yeah, I guess I gotta say Propaganda too. Arcane Adaptation's good. Counterspell is great. Gitaxian Probe is free. Tainted Isle is another land. There we go. Whisper Silk Cloaked is going to get in because Shroud. Quiet as Spike's a maybe, so is this one. This is a ninja, so it's getting in even though it's not very good. Unblockable card, another one. Baleful Strix, of course it gets in. I think we might be at the point here where I am just going to... this is going to be almost my final cut, I bet. 3 mana. This one's technically 4 mana. 4, 3. That's the problem. We're starting to get Brainstorm. Did I already put a Brainstorm in? I don't think so. Counterspell. I put the other Counterspell in, so I'll put this off to the side. Mystical Tutor. Puts the card on top. Great for us. Negate. Pretty good. Negate's 2 mana. Threads of Disloyalty is okay, honestly. Blue Elemental Blast. We'll take that one out because we have the other one. That looks neat. Okiba Gang Shinobi. Did I already put an Okiba Gang Shinobi in? For 5 mana? No. Okay. Okiba Gang Shinobi. Coastal Piracy. Neurox Stealth Suit, honestly, I can cut. Notion Thief. Pretty good. Choking Tethers is cool. Scornful Egotist. Neuroc Commando does not have a way to... native way to make itself unblockable, so put that to the side. Curiosity is pretty good. Blighted Agent can't be blocked. Very nice. Vapor Snag, good. Invisible Stalker and Ink Fathom Witch. And then finally, Prying Blade and Nimble Trap Finder will both put off to the side for a second. So, let's see, honestly, like that might have been enough to have a whole deck. Yeah, I mean, it looks like, honestly, I'm going to have to make some cuts from this, which is not what I had thought. Had not anticipated having to make cuts at this level. Because, yeah, this is more than 100 cards for sure. More than we need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. So 65 cards. That's about what we want. 35 lands. This is supposed to be a pretty aggressive deck, so things that we'll look at here. But like that's, I mean, we had double the amount of cards we wanted, right? So that's a problem. So we're gonna need to cut down some cards. I also want these cards in there. So Thoughtcast, I didn't see enough artifacts. Wizard's Retort, I didn't see enough wizards, honestly. Tribute Mage. I mean, there's some interesting artifacts with Converted Mana Cost too, but they're mostly ramp. I could get a Scroll Rack. That seems... Wishclaw Talisman is like a demonic tutor, basically. But it doesn't seem that good to get. So, probably don't need a Tribute Mage. Same thing with this Rogue package. This sort of Rogue package is interesting, but this doesn't have any way to become unblockable. This is just sort of inefficient. I really do want to play with Zareth San. Skull Clamp, we have a bunch of other ways to draw cards. So, and I don't think many of our cards have flash either. So I'm going to look at Zareth San. I'm going to want to put Zareth San in. But other than that, these will all get cut. And I'm just going to decide to cut this section of cards, which is super, I mean, not like super unfortunate. But yeah, a lot of cool cards in here that I'm probably not going to play. I'm trying to win. Oh, you schmuck, you're playing to win. Anyway. Okay, so let's organize this a little bit more in a different way. So protection, high converted mana cost card draw, and then synergy, ramp, synergy, ramp, utility, synergy, tutor, removal. We'll probably cut Dreadhorde Invasion. Not as good as other versions of the card. No Bitter Blossom. Again, the card is not Bitter Blossom. Doomblade is probably fine. Card draw. This wins the game. Ghostly Puffer, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. I mean, this card seems fine. This card actually seems like a really good utility card. Memory Lapse is a counterspell. Put that under removal. Guess. Okay, I have too many 1-drops is the answer. Terramander can probably get cut. Pongify can probably get cut. I have enough removal spells. All these cards are good, though. I'm looking at them and it's like, what do I cut? Skull Snatcher. Blighted Agent. Blighted Agent has Infect, which we're not really going in on. Maybe Defile. Then I cut too many removal spells. Maybe Turn Aside. Maybe Spell Pierce. Arcane Denial is also 2 mana. I don't know why it's in the 1 mana spot here. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means I can put 6 cards from here in. Dimir Signet, 1. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just run through that. Jeez, this is going to be hard. This is going to be really hard to do. Man. Because all these cards are just good. Probably don't need Negate. So that's another one. Probably don't need Fairy Seer. It's not blockable. Or not unblockable. 2. Curiosity might not even be that good. Honestly. Yeah, I'll take away Curiosity. Because if we're trying to try and ninjutsu things. So that's 3 more cards. Yeah, Whisper Silk Cloak, Syndicate Naga, that one. Yeah, okay. I think I guess my strategy that I was doing, I need to do that. So we have ways to protect our commander here. We have ramp spells here. We have we'll put counters, and so counter spell, removal spell. This is sort of a counter.
This is the technical difficulties tune that's here because the camera ran out of memory. Now we'll return at a later part of the build.
Okay, we cut out there for a second. We have arranged the deck into piles. We don't have very many. We have a lot of cards that we want to put in that we can't. So I'm trying to figure out here what cards I can cut. I've got this Universal Automaton that I'm going to cut, and I guess I'll just put in Opposition Agent as a general utility card. So my stuff here is I have Protection, which actually Whisper Silk Cloak should probably go in. Protection cards for my creatures, ramp spells, counter spells, hard to block creatures, sort of utility stuff, removal spells, actual ninjas, card draw spells, and shooters. So lots of good stuff here. Let's take a look. This is a fair amount of removal spell, especially since we don't have board wipes. I don't think it's bad. Let's see if we can maybe take out some counter spells. Target red spell, destroy target red permanent. Mental misstep, swan song. Trying to unlock memory lapse. Huh. I don't want to cut any of these. These are all very good. Maybe if we'll cut Vapor Snag. Cut Vapor Snag, maybe. And then Blue Elemental Blast. So we'll cut those two. And then maybe Memory Lapse. So we'll cut those 3 cards. We'll put in this Serum Visions. Put that in the card draw section. And then put in Ashiok. It's a general sort of utility card. What could I replace with Fierce Guardianship, actually? Ashiok, Ninja of the Deep Hours, and Sakashima's Student. Yeah. Seems good. All right. What counterspell would I replace with Fierce Guardianship in here? Probably Hydroblast. Yeah, Hydroblast with Fierce Guardianship. Okay, let's look next. Card draw. Probably don't need Ransack the Lab. Probably don't need Mask of Memory because it needs to be equipped. And we have enough solid card draw that Village Rites can probably go out as well. So we'll cut these 3. So that's 3 more cards we get to put in. Oubliette's good removal. So put that in the removal. Commander Sphere is good ramp. And Dig Through Time is really good card draw. So is Treasure Cruise. Okay, so now we keep going. That's probably not enough ramp to think about cutting any. Chain of Vapor returns any non-land permanent, so that's a way for us to deal with multiple things. Honestly, we might cut a Doomblade. Cut a Doomblade or a Heartless Act, but Heartless Act seems pretty good because there aren't necessarily that many cards with counters. So we have a couple of ways to deal with non-land permanents. Yeah, okay. We'll cut a Doomblade from that. We'll look at our hard-to-block creatures next. Sleeper's Robe is cool, but probably not that useful. Invisible Stalker, Blighted Agent. Thalicos Seer. Sleeper's Robe is probably the least useful there for us. Ghostly Pilfer is pretty good. Tormented Soul, Ornithopter. I'll probably cut Blighted Agent just because it's not really synergizing with our strategy very much. Some other cards. Let's go look at utility cards real quick to cut. I guess I'm going to have to consider cut Sigh of the Shinobi, even though I think it's really cool. And I have to consider cutting Unearth. We'll see. So Then we'll put in Jace as a way to win the game. Treasure Cruise is another good card draw spell. 2 more cards. Draco, because it's fun. Draco just needs to be in the deck. And then 1 more card. I could put an Agent of Treachery. Ink Eyes seems good. Fallen Shinobi just as another ninja, probably. And then let us see. Tutors. I mean, just a good amount of tutors. That all just seems great. I don't know if I can cut any of those. If I want to cut any of those. Back to card draw. Is there any of these I want to cut? Not really. Generic cards. Like I say, I'd consider cutting Unearth. Maybe cut Unearth and Cunning Invasion. Maybe Arcane Adaptation is too cute. Arcane Adaptation, if we don't have Conspiracy in here either. It would be fun. It'd be super fun. Maybe I'll do that with Zerath Sand and make everything rogues. That'd be cool. Maybe I'll make a Zerath Sand deck. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll use the rest of these cards and make a Zerath Sand deck. So that's another one. Unearth, I think, is just so good. Let's see. What 1 card do we want for Unearth? Let me search your library for a ninja card, reveal it. Higaru of the Still Wind? Probably. Higaru. Okay, so let's see what else. What do we want from here? Telling Time's fine, probably not great. Moonsplayed Shinobi bounces a card. Brazen Borrower is just hard to bounce and bounces a card. Narset's cool. Shadow Mage Infiltrator, maybe? Maybe Phantom Ninja. Maybe Dismember. Maybe Choking Tethers. Notion Thief. Glinalinja Archmage. This probably doesn't do enough, honestly. Kane's Indestructible's cool. Honestly, we have enough tutors. Diabolic Tutor isn't even that good. Akiba Gang Shinobi seems good. This Throat Slitter honestly seems really good. We might remove a removal spell for that. Scornful Egotist. Ink Eye. So maybe those. So I'll go ahead and say that these cards are going to get cut. We'll put all of these cards over in the cut pile. And these cards also got cut. Huge amount of, like I say, cutting going on here. This is not typical for me. Okay, so let's relook at some stuff. Let's sort these out differently again. First, let's count them. So, yeah. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 6, 7, 48, 49, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 59, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 56, which I think is honestly a pretty good number. We could probably just add in a couple cards if we really wanted to. 56. So 2 mana, 3 mana, 3 mana. Jace is technically 4 mana. 4 mana. Sakashima's Student. 5 mana for this. 5, 1. This one's Gitaxian Probe is basically 0. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Lots of mana. Lots of mana. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1. 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Technically 3, but probably 0. Lots of 2 mana stuff. Mental Misstep is also basically 0 mana. I don't know when I'll ever pay full price for that. Amount of mana. 3 mana, 3 mana, 2 mana, 1 mana, a lot of mana. So I guess like my curve is really good. Right? Like in terms of what I'm trying to do here. Especially since I'm trying to ninjutsu things. Let's see, maybe, so I can just add, let's try and add 2 cards here. Scornful Egotist. Way to get up our mana count here. And I guess Ink Eyes? Probably do Ink Eyes. So we'll add those 2. So is there any card that I would like to remove for a higher mana cost card? These cards are all pretty good. Cycle through my deck. Maybe Opt. Maybe I get rid of Opt for something. I'm just kind of disappointed I don't have as many ninjas. Okay, so here's the plan. Here's going to be the plan. I'll run it like this. So that means that I have, with the commander, I have 32 lands that I need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that means I need 10 of each basic. Okay. And then maybe I'll run. No, I'll try and not go with the other line. So I'll get 10 of each basic. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So we've got that. And now I am going to sleeve the deck up. Fortunately for me, that's the wrong box I grabbed. Let's grab that. Fortunately, I grabbed the wrong box. I have this box, and I have these nice Dimir sleeves that I got in a box from Channel Fireball a while ago. So I will sleeve it up in that and then return. Alrighty, and here we have this finished Yuriko deck. During the break, I had to make some adjustments, or didn't have to. I had one fewer card than I thought to put Jace in, so I swapped into the Royal Out for him. And then I just decided that Walker of Secret Ways and Skull Snatcher, exiling cards from graveyard, and then looking at players' hands, and maybe being able to return a ninja weren't as good as destroying creatures and having Ophidian attached to them. So I put in these. Also, these increase my CMC count just a little bit, all 4 of these cards, so that I can do some more damage with Yuriko. But I decided, to do that. Hopefully now we can show off some test games, which I think is one of the most important parts of building a commander deck, is being able to goldfish with it a little bit. Although this is a bit of a reactive deck, as you saw with all the counter spells and the kill spells and stuff. So I might not be able to goldfish with it perfectly. We'll see how it works out, though. It's still good to sort of see what your deck is doing, and hopefully this will go very well. We had those technical difficulties earlier, and I would like it if those do not get repeated. So we're going to shuffle up a little bit. These sleeves are still pretty new. I did use them for a couple of goldfishes with the deck earlier when I didn't have proper sleeves for it. These were randomly thrown in with a thing from Channel Fireball. You can get some of their bundles occasionally. They come with sleeves and playmats and stuff, but you don't get to choose. It costs extra money if you want to be able to choose, and I think they've got rid of that option on some of their newer boxes and stuff. So it's a bit unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah. So I hope that's shuffled enough. We'll see. That is the problem with these chroma, I think they're called chroma sleeves. The ones that have the good art on the back that doesn't wear off. Ooh, that sleeve, that card is bent. That's unfortunate. It's probably the Jace. It could be Serum Visions. Could be one of any cards, you know. Could be one of many. But the chroma sleeves are a bit stiff, and so they kind of poke you, and they're kind of hard to shuffle. That's my big complaint with them. So let's see. Cut ourselves. Not like that. And then we'll draw a hand of 7 cards. Okay. That is not the hand we hope for in the beginning. We don't have a 1-drop. I probably mulligan this. Yeah, get a free mulligan in Commander. Probably mulligan. Yeah, probably wouldn't have been doing what we wanted to do there. So, yeah, but best to send that one back. I'm learning about free mulligans. I probably would have kept that in a casual game. Especially in a casual game because, you know, I'm playing a Ninjas deck. But, yeah, mulliganing is an important part of the game. I'm learning how to play. And it's something I don't do nearly as well. I have a land, I have a spell, I'll keep it. Why not? Even in Commander when it's like free mulligan. There's some events on Arena as well that say free mulligan and I just don't even pay attention. I'm like, oh, I could have just mulliganed this? Could have mulliganed this terrible hand away? Man, why don't I pay attention? Ugh. These cards will hopefully get squished out. Maybe I'll end up double sleeving this so that some of the more warped cards can end up being less noticeable. Oh, this hand seems good. This hand seems great so far. All right, draw a card. Oh, yeah, that's good. And then the final one is the Serum Visions. Okay. Yes, do I want a Mystical Tutor? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep this hand for sure. Hand seems good. And then we'll draw a card. Ooh, Invisible Stalker. Okay, that seems very good. I guess we'll Serum Visions then. Island. Serum Visions. So we draw a card. Replaces our Serum Visions. Isolated Watchtower. Interesting. And then Scry 2. Ooh. I think we'll keep them like that, right? No, because of the way we can't... I have a Mystical Tutor. Do I just scry both to the bottom? I think I do. I think I scry both to the bottom. I don't really want to draw either of those next turn. And I can't get my trigger. So we'll do that. Okay. Untap. Draw. We'll pass turn. Go to the next turn. Only Sandbar's good. We'll play a Drowned Catacomb because we can, and then I guess we'll play an Invisible Stalker. And then pass the turn there. So we'll untap. We have an Invisible Stalker. We'll draw a card. Should we play a swamp? No, we play an island. Play an island. And then we can... so we can attack with Invisible Stalker. We can activate Yuriko's Commander Ninjutsu ability, so we'll return this to our hand. And be attacking. Then in response to the trigger, we will cast Mystical Tutor. Which is like the idea. Yeah, it would have been a Baleful Strix, which isn't a bad card. We'll get... a card. God, I'm looking through this and it's like, oh yeah, so many good cards. There's Treasure Cruise. I probably will get Dig. So we'll get Dig through time, and then we will reveal it off the Mystical Tutor, but then we'll put it on top of our library and reveal it off the Yuriko trigger and deal 8 damage to each of our opponents, which seems like a really good turn 3. And we have a Dig through time. Okay, and then we will pass the turn. So we do that. Dig in our hand. Do we have to discard? No. Okay, we'll pass the turn. We'll untap. We'll draw a card. It's a Jace. We're getting there. We'll play a Swamp. I guess we'll cycle the Lonely Sandbar in a second. No, okay, we'll cast a Invisible Stalker. And then we'll cast a Ghostly Pilferer. And then presumably my opponents will block or try and kill my Yuriko, so I'll pass. Untap. Draw a card. Ooh, that's a good. Thalicos Seer. Okay, so we'll play Isolated Watchtower. We'll attack with Invisible Stalker. Okay, I don't really want to discard cards. So we'll attack with Invisible Stalker. Then we will ninjutsu out this Sakashima student, which I will make a copy, since I don't know what my opponents are doing in this pretend game. I'll make a copy of my Ghostly Pilferer, but it is still a ninja. Yuriko will trigger. So flip Demonic Consultation. Each opponent takes 1. Okay. Yeah. We'll cycle a Lonely Sandbar. Second main phase. We'll cast the Fellwar Stone. Seems good to me. And then pass the turn. Okay. So then we'll go to our next turn. We'll untap. Because this is a copy of Ghostly Pilferer, when it untaps, I have a trigger to pay 2 mana to draw a card. I don't have protection for my Juice Consultation. So, yes, I will do that. I'll pay 2 mana and draw a card. Shadow Mage Infiltrator. And then I'll draw a card for turn. Okay. Seems good. Okay. I will activate the ability of Sakashima's student, which is Ghostly Pilferer, to discard Shadow Mage Infiltrator to make him unblockable. And then I will proceed to combat and attack. I will reveal the top card because of Yuriko's trigger. It's a Path of Ancestry. It'll go in my hand. No damage. I will put that Path of Ancestry into play. I will cast Invisible Stalker, and I will cast Thalicos Seer. And pass the turn. We'll untap. Sakashima's student will have a triggered ability. I will again pay 2 to draw a card. Okay. So I can't quite go for the win yet. I'll draw a card for turn. I'll play a swamp. I will activate the ability of Sakashima's student to make it unblockable by discarding a commander sphere. I will attack with Sakashima student. So Steer only have 1 trigger from Yuriko. Reveal the top card. It is a Swiftfoot Boots. Put that in my hand. I'll cast Swiftfoot Boots and then pass. On my opponent's end step, I will 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I will exile my graveyard to cast Dig Through Time. And I'll also just cast this Vendetta because why not? So look at the top 7 cards. I mean, this. I'm assuming that there's some game-ending threat. Top 7. And then put 2 in your hand. I guess I'll take Treasure Cruise and Dimir Infiltrator. The rest on the bottom. Doesn't really matter what order I put them in. Okay, we'll go to my turn again. We'll untap. I will not draw with Sakashima's student. Draw a card. It's Thada. Play this island. We will transmute Dimir Infiltrator. Right? No. Because then we can't consultation win if we do that still. We could, but it doesn't actually get us protection that we want. So we'll not do that. Instead, I mean, because we could have probably tried to go for consultation for a while here. I think that's probably as far as this game's going to go. This Goldfish game. We can, yeah. It was a bad trade. That's probably what we just needed, a mana drain in hand. Didn't draw the counters. That's fine. I mean, I think that performed pretty well, honestly. At that point, the game, if it's a higher power game, is probably over. And us not drawing counter spells was either a death sentence or we just had to go for it there and just try and cast Jace and Demonic Consultation and instead of transmuting and just bluff having a counter spell. But of course, our opponent's going to make us have it because it's literally winning the game. So, it worked out like pretty well. We were able to hit our opponent for a lot really early. Maybe I should have saved the Mystical Tutor for a counterspell later, technically speaking, but who knows? I think that worked out though. I think it was
a good round. So let's go ahead and see. Put Yuriko back in the command zone. My command zone is over here, but you can't see it on the frame because that's how this camera works, or this setup currently works. So let's try one more game real quick, and then maybe I'll actually do more than that, but we'll see. I think this setup is this configuration of the deck is working well. I haven't felt the need to change any cards in that playtest. Oh my god. Wow. One drop? No. This is tempting, honestly. Yeah, I'll keep. Sure, why not? Whatever. We'll play it. We'll go fish this out. One drop. Nope. Watery Grave? Pass. Untap. Draw a card. Guess what card I didn't have last turn? Swamp. Felwar Stone. I'm going to assume that one of my opponents is playing blue. So sorry. Look at the top three cards. Ponder. Ugh. That seems good. Put them like this. Yeah. Put them like that. Draw a card. I don't think I need to shuffle those away. Those are all actually pretty good. Pass turn. Untap. Draw a card. Land. Soul Ring. Baleful Strix. Go. Pass turn. Untap. Draw a card. Land. A lot of colors, man. Attack with Baleful Strix. Activate Yuriko's ability. Reveal the top card. It is a Fierce Guardianship. Oh, each opponent takes 3. Now I know I have a Fierce Guardianship in hand. What do I do with all this? All this colorless mana. Whisper Self Cloak. We'll go ahead and just equip that to Yuriko. And then pass turn. Untap. So Yuriko has Shroud, which is both good and bad for me. Okay. Well, it's time for this Baleful Strix again. Draw a card. I'm going to cycle Unearth before combat. Interesting. Could be worse. We'll attack with Yuriko. Can't be blocked. Brainstorm. Put Brainstorm in our hand. And we would have to discard the hand size otherwise. So we'll play this Slitherblade. And pass the turn.
Untappy. Draw a card. Lightning Greaves. Very good. Very good. Okay. We'll cast a Lightning Greaves, which will equip to Baleful Strix. Go attacking. We'll assume that all 3 hit, because 2 can't be blocked and 1's in the air, and I've chosen carefully, and it's got Shroud. So, I will first use 2 colorless and a blue to ninjutsu Mist Syndicate Naga out. And that will happen. So damage will happen. Got a trigger here, so I make a copy of Mist Syndicate Naga. I'll make a 3/1. It's fine. And then 2 ninja triggers. In response to the trigger ability there, I will cast Brainstorm. Drawing 3 cards. Ooh. And then putting 2 cards back on top of my library. Cards back on top of my library. So, I have put up there Fierce Guardianship, so each of my opponents takes 3, and they already knew about this card. That's why I put it back on. And then Waker of Waves, so each of my opponent will take 7. Which seems good. I'll put both those in my hand. I don't have the mana to cast that Dimir Signet, unfortunately, so I will discard some cards. I'll go to my end step, discard some cards. Oh, I have a Reliquary Tower. I don't have to discard anything. I have a Reliquary Tower. Okay, pass turn. Untap my cards. This is literally why I put the Reliquary Tower in the deck. Okay, so we'll cast the Dimir Signet so we have more colored mana to work with here. We will I guess we'll activate Waker of Waves ability. Activate Waker of Waves. So we discard it, look at the top 2 cards, put Heartless Act in the graveyard, and put Wishclaw Talisman into our hand. And we'll go attacking. We'll attack with Yuriko. I assume that there's blockers for these. Trigger. It's a swamp. Let's go ahead and put that directly onto the battlefield, because that's not how the ability works, but it'll go into my hand, and I'll do that. And then I guess we'll cast Ashiok and Ink Fathom Witch. Past her. We'll say that at some point someone uses something where I have to use my Fierce Guardianship, so I'll use it. Seems like it's going to happen eventually, right? So, untap and draw a card. Ooh, that's a really good one. That is a really good one right now. So, we will just straight up go to combat, I guess. We drew the Mystical Tutor. Just go to combat. We'll attack with Yuriko and this Baleful Strix. In response to Yuriko's trigger, we will cast a Mystical Tutor. What the top card would have been? Force of Negation. Pretty good card. What the top card will be, though, is Dig Through Time. And we'll say maybe our opponent tried to use Dispel or something. What's the 1 mana counter an instant spell? So we'll say that we used Mental Misstep on that. So we had to do it. So this triggers, puts in our hand. Cool. We don't have two. Oh, we do. Yeah. So we'll use the mana from this to make 2 blue and black. And exile 6 cards from our graveyard. And we'll have a black floating. Don't really care what 6 they are. 6 cards from our graveyard. Look at the top 7. Oh my god. Spellseeker Mana Drain? That's what I'd take. Maybe Spellseeker Command Tower, honestly, because their cards are pretty bad. Let's take Spellseeker Command Tower. I can get the Mana Drain with the Spellseeker. And then we'll go ahead and play that Command Tower. We have a black floating. We'll use it to cast an Oubliette. And then pass turn. Assuming nothing happens on one of our opponent's turns, we'll cast this Opposition Agent. Just to annoy them. They really can't search their library if Ashiok's still in play, but we'll see. Okay, this board state's being a mess, but I think, yeah. Okay, I think that's performed very well. I think it's sort of doing what the deck is supposed to be doing. We'll see. I'll have to actually play against some human opponents. But I think, as far as it goes, that deck has been performing quite well. It's got the right tutors. It's got a lot of the right cards in it, doing a lot of the right things. And yeah, I think that is good.
Maybe, like I say, I'll play another deck. Right now, I'm a bit another deck. I'll play another goldfishing game. Right now, I'm a bit tired. So might do that in a bit. I might make this in a bit, though. Make this Zareth Sand the Trickster Rogue deck, because I really like that. And I was like, oh yeah, he'll fit into this deck pretty good as a sub-theme. But as it turns out, they just collected enough cards that actually work in this deck that isn't necessary. There's enough good cards for the ninja's strategy that you don't sort of need the rogue sub-theme. Although there is a rogue sub-theme. Like, if you look at the cards, there's a surprising number of rogues in there. So, yeah. Well, that was Yuriko. That's a deck I wanted to build for a long time, as I said. And I was super excited to do that. Super happy about it. I'm happy with the deck. I like the way that it works. And yeah, thank you for watching.